Hello, everyone. Welcome to another expert conversations with me, Emmy, here in Self Publishing Made Simple. So, for today, our very special guest is one of our graduates in the Get It Done Challenge. And I'm really excited to have this conversation with her to talk about her self publishing journey and also what she plans to do next and how that's going to build her brand, build her platform and grow her audience. But before we get into that, let me just give you a brief background about her. So, our guest today is an SEO content specialist with a passion for teaching and writing. She's an educator by heart and a writer and editor by profession. She has helped local businesses and affiliate marketers dominate their niche and get better ranking on Google through optimized and high converting web content. She's a graduate of our Get It Done Challenge and the number one best-selling author of Content Writing 101. So without further ado, let's all welcome our very special guest today, Joice Carrera. Hi, Joyce!
Hi, Emmy. Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, I'm really excited, Joyce, to have this conversation because I have to say we met at the start of the year, and before the this crazy year ended, you actually managed to write your book, publish it, and launch it to number one bestseller on Amazon. So even with all the things going on in the world right now, you actually managed to accomplish that. So before we get into that, for those people who don't know anything about you, tell us a little bit about yourself and what is it that you do?
So, hi, I'm Joyce. I do SEO content. Basically, I started as a writer when I started freelancing. But currently, I manage writers. So, I do all content management. I edit, I plan content, I strategize content, all things content except the bulk of the writing. So, that's what I do now. And I've been working with clients and SEO agencies for almost 5 years now. So that's what I've been doing in the past 5 years. And before that, I was actually a university instructor, which in the medical field actually. So I had a master's degree in physical therapy. So that's it's not really in line with what I currently do, but life brings us somewhere, and now we're here.
I think we actually follow like parallel paths. Like for me, I'm not a. Did you say you're a
Yes,
physical
physical
therapist?
therapist. Yeah.
Physical therapist. Yeah, well, I'm a psychologist also in an academic background lecturing, but life takes us. We're both moms. I mean, for me, that was the trigger for me to shift my perspective, to shift my career because with what we do now as freelancers, as authors, as business owners, really we have more freedom and control. And in your case, well, in our case, actually having a book is helping us to build our platform, share our knowledge, and let people know what we do, what we are experts on. So you mentioned that you do content writing, SEO. What exactly is SEO? I'm sure that so many of our members know what it is, being online entrepreneurs. But for those who don't know anything about it, what can you tell us about SEO?
The concept of SEO is actually very simple. So basically, the objective. Sorry, that's my daughter.
It's okay. I'm a mama too, so it happens.
So the objective of SEO is really to create a website that would rank on the first page of Google. So basically, when you are on the first page of Google, more eyes are on your business. So you get more eyes on your business. You are basically when people search for something on Google. They seldom click page two. Like if
Yeah.
they ask a question on Google, what they see on the first page, that's what they click. So you get all those clicks. So with SEO, when your website and your web page is optimized, you get all those clicks, you get all the traffic. And if you have a service-based business, or even if you have a local brick and mortar business that you're bringing online through a website, you get all those traffic and potentially convert them into sales and clients. So that's
It's
basically
it's
the objective of SEO.
Yeah, and it's a new kind of marketing now because yeah, if you can get eyeballs to your business through Google, and if your business appears on the first page, or if it appears the first one on Google, if it ranks highly, that's absolutely fantastic. Are there, I know that you have an entire book, well, with content writing anyway, and you're touching upon SEO as well, but could you give us in a nutshell what sort of things can people do to rank highly on Google?
In terms of ranking in any search engine like Google, your basic foundation should be high quality content. You should have to have content that answers the people's questions. So if it doesn't answer, if it doesn't satisfy the query of whoever is searching, then don't expect to rank. So the first thing to really focus on when it comes to ranking is to build high quality content. That means that you know who you're talking to, so you know who your target audience is, and you know how you can satisfy what they are looking for. Because when people search for something on Google, they are already considered warm leads because they are looking for something.
Yeah.
So they are looking for something, and when they land on your page, and your page is able to satisfy whatever they're looking for, then that's it. That's a warm lead for you. we have we have an
It's
extra here.
okay. Yes, yes.
That,
Come, join us.
yeah, so that's the basic foundation of SEO. There are a lot of other technical stuff when it comes to search engine optimization, but in my practice, the bulk of what really makes SEO successful is quality content. So
Quality content.
yes.
Yes.
And when it comes to these search engines, these are robots. These are they are just algorithms. They are formulas. So they don't necessarily know how to analyze a page without text. So if your text doesn't make sense to them, then it's not there. You're not going to be recognized by the Google bots. So as long as you focus on quality content, you have a high chance of ranking on Google.
Fantastic. And I think this has so many, again, parallels with what we did in the Get It Done challenge, because from the very start, okay, our first exercise was understanding your why, understanding your purpose. But once we've grounded ourselves in our purpose, then we got on to,
Yeah,
doing the market research, doing the keyword research, that even before you start writing your book, you actually are in the mindset of serving your audience and providing content that would serve your audience. So tell us a little bit about that. Did you see any similarities with how we got on with preparing your book, and what you do as an SEO expert and content writing specialist?
definitely there are a lot of similarities. And I love that you mentioned about the market research and keyword research because I know that you're very passionate about knowing what your market wants before you even write your book. And I think with SEO, that's actually a huge chunk of it as well, because I always advise bloggers and writers that before you even plan your content, you have to know what what you have to know what the market wants. You have to know what people are looking for, because if you write for yourself, like if you write whatever comes to mind without being without being intentional about it, um, it will less likely to drive traffic to your website. So it's the same with it's very similar to what we did in the Get It Done challenge, because we started with really establishing the foundation, which is what are people looking for. So what are they looking for? What are they interested in? And based on the interest of the market, um, we were able to craft something of value to them, so
Mm.
that when it's done, when it's all set, what the key phrases or keywords that they will be searching for in Amazon or in Google, we can satisfy that. So we are able to I was able to come up with an outline and a skeleton for my book, satisfying what people are actually interested in.
What
So
people
that's
are
very
looking
actually the
for.
the premise of SEO as well.
Yes, yes. So that's why you actually got on with it, and it was you were quite a natural, and you just went for it and did, one task after another. But I have to say, one of the biggest mistakes new authors make is that they get so excited. Of course, it's an exciting thing to be able to write a book, and most authors would come in with an idea, I want to write about this, and they get on and write about it without understanding that maybe their readers are looking for something else. They might have the best idea and write the best book ever, but if their readers aren't really interested in it, or they don't really identify it as a need or as a problem, then it doesn't, it's not going to sell very well, if there is no demand for it. So that's why in the Get It Done challenge, one of the things that we do is, yeah, we do the market research, and then we do the keyword research. And when it comes to the market research, if you remember our worksheet, I ask you to identify your readers' desires, their frustrations, their objections. What do they want to lose, what do they want to gain. And when you have a better understanding of your market, you would be able to write a book that will serve them better. So it's very similar to what you're talking about in terms of content writing and SEO, optimizing your page for SEO, because essentially Amazon is also like a search engine, right? People go on Amazon and they search for stuff.
Yes, that's true. And actually, I also work with a client with an Amazon page, and they focus on home furniture. And one of the things that we do is to actually search for high traffic keywords so that these products, these home furniture that they put up on Amazon, can be found by those who are actually looking for those items. So, an advantage is that an advantage really is that you already have the warm market going to you. Like,
Mm.
you don't have to cold pitch, or you don't have to like sell your item
Go
to
give
a
her a kiss, Joyce. Give her a kiss. It's okay. Do you want to what's her name, Joyce?
she's Marsha. Say hello to my
Marsha,
friend.
come sit with us. Sit with us. How are you?
Let's go.
Come, let's sit with us. Yes. So you were
Uh,
saying, Joy, sorry. So
yes.
regarding the product and
Yes.
optimizing your client's page.
Yeah, so everyone who lands on the product page is actually a warm lead already. So they only need very little convincing for to buy. So because they're already looking for your
They're
product.
looking for something already. Yes.
And that's the very premise of SEO, and that's what we also did in the Get It Done challenge. And I kind of understand the importance of the market research, because I always tell, when I train writers, I always tell them that if they want to write about something, let's say they're very passionate about something, they have to know, or they have to understand first, who are they writing this for. They have to really know the market, the the wants and the pain points of their market, so that they can easily craft something that would speak to these people, and it will be easier for them to engage and to really be relate to whatever content they're writing.
Yes, absolutely. And what I love with what we did in the Get It Done challenge is, as we were working through the keyword research, not only was it informing the content of the book, it's actually giving our members insight into what specific areas they could focus on, because sometimes they come up with, a general idea. So for example, for me, I'm a psychologist. I could just talk about anything and everything under the sun that involves, human cognition, behavior, and experience. It's like a huge, huge topic. But when we do the keyword research, it helps me to identify that, oh, there are a lot of people who are experiencing fear right now, or there are people who are feeling as if they're in a bit of a rut right now. So I could actually hone into specific problem points and even create a series of books. So I don't have to write one, an encyclopedia of knowledge about psychology. I can actually salamify it based on our keyword research and identify, okay, this is what they need right now. I could offer them that. And in your case, for your first book, you were writing about content writing. So are you thinking about writing more into the future based on what you've done with your keyword research?
Yes, definitely. More books are on the are planned, but I'd like to point out what you said, that when it comes to keyword research, if you have a general idea, the keyword research really does like niche it down. And I actually, in my case, that's yes. In my case, that's what happened also, because I had a different idea before we started with the program. I had a different idea for a book, and I remember before I enrolled early this year, we had a call, and I mentioned about writing a book about weddings.
Yes,
I'm
I
not sure if you
remember that. I
remember that.
remember that. Yeah.
And then we did some keyword research, and there was not enough search volume for that topic. So,
For
and
books
even with
anyway. Yeah, for
yes,
books. Maybe in Google, maybe
yeah,
you're looking for
blog
a
posts and
specific,
everything.
yeah, but not for a book.
Yes, and the keyword research phase really niche it down for me. Like it made the concept very clear. It made the direction very clear, that okay, I wanted to write this, and these are the points that I want to discuss in my book. And just as he said, it also gives you a bigger picture on what series or what other topics you can actually expound on. Like in my case, for Content Writing 101, I have I think 2 chapters about SEO, but just the very general overview of SEO for a beginner. But I can actually expound on that more, and write a separate book about SEO, or maybe another. I had another chapter about content planning, which is another
Mm.
huge topic on its own. So it really opened up to a lot of other possibilities and a lot of content ideas when you do your keyword research, right?
Yes, and as you've noticed, I'm really passionate about keyword research because it has so many benefits that it gives you the confidence that there is demand for your book, that even before you start writing your book, you understand that, oh, people are looking for this, people actually want it. So it drives you to actually do it and write it because you know that people are waiting for a book like yours. And at the same time, it helps to prevent overwhelm, because if you have so many ideas and you're struggling to narrow down your focus, when you do your keyword research, you can see that people are looking for very specific
Yeah.
things. On
Mhm.
Amazon, they have very specific problems. That's why they're typing in those search terms on the search bar on Amazon. And the good thing is, we talk about optimization. When you optimize your book's page based on your keyword research, if you manage to identify those high traffic keywords and add them in your title, subtitle, book description, your book will rank highly on Amazon, considering that it's also a search engine. And when people type in something, I'm looking for content writing, and then suddenly you have a book that says Content Writing 101, it's like, oh my goodness, this author is reading my mind, right? So it's certainly something that's helpful, and I absolutely enjoy it. But did you struggle at all with the keyword research? Because certainly for some of my students, they when they start doing the keyword research, they couldn't find the high traffic keywords immediately. It takes a while to get those high traffic keywords. So did you struggle with that, or did it come naturally to you?
Um, there was a phase that was a little bit of a challenge, because when it comes to Google SEO, there's what we call the search intent, which is basically when you type in a keyword, and then let's say I typed in what's the best foundation for oily skin. When that keyword has a particular intent, which is I want brand recommendations.
Yeah.
I want recommendations of foundations that I can use for my oily skin. If I have, let's say, if I have a blog post that talks about what is a foundation, it's not going to rank on that keyword. It's
Mm.
not, because the intent is different. What is foundation? The intent is just knowing what is a foundation.
Yeah.
But if someone searches for best foundation for oily skin, then the intent is the recommendation for the brand recommendations for oily skin makeup. So when I was doing my research, that was what's on my mind. Like, I had to satisfy the intent of the keyword that I was looking at. And then when the first keyword, I clearly remember this. The first keyword that I looked into was content writing jobs. That's the top keyword. And I got excited because it has about 30,000
Wow.
on
So
Amazon. So
people
that's a lot.
are thinking
Yes.
about it. Like, how
People are
do I
thinking
get
about
content
it. And then
writing jobs?
yes, that's right. And then when I looked into the competitors, like, okay, what's coming up on Amazon when I type content writing jobs, and all of these are very competitive books. They are highly competitive, like mostly about uh, I forgot the title, but these are mostly self-help books about getting a job, or about
Okay.
very
General.
yeah, it's quite general. So I thought, okay, should I use this keyword as my main keyword, even if the Amazon results doesn't necessarily match with my intent for that keyword. So I kind of got lost in that, but then eventually, as I did a lot of keyword variations, I think there's what we call the semantic keywords, which are
Mm.
synonymous keywords, essentially. So when I did that, I found variations that matched my intent. And
Yeah.
so I came up with content writing 101. So
Yeah.
that's how it came to be. So, and then I found that, okay, writing 101 has about 10,000 search volume, and all
The
of
competition.
the competition is in the similar niche. So I find, okay, that's it. That's content writing 101.
Yeah. And the thing with the keyword research, what I've noticed is it does take a bit of time, and
Mhm.
it does take a bit of repetition as well. There are some of my clients who manage to do it well, like the first time that we do the keyword research and they get the high search, high traffic keywords immediately, are those who have been in their industry for like 20 years, that they've obsessed about their field and they know their clients inside out, that when they put in the keyword, they are in the heads of their clients, and they know exactly what people are putting in. So for example, with Louise Armstrong, when I was doing the keyword research with her, every time she suggested a keyword, I type it in. It's like thousands and thousands of keywords already, because she's been doing her job for decades. So she knows her clients inside out. It's the same with Matt Esam. He was doing his keyword research with me, and he's been doing his freelance. He's actually a business mentor for creative freelancers, so it's very niched.
Very
But
specific.
he's just obsessed about it, and every time he suggested the keyword for me, it was like thousands of searches already per month, because it's something that he obsesses about. But for some of our members in the Get It Done challenge, because they're just starting out, because they're doing this on the side, on top of their day job, it does take us a bit of time, to get to the thousands of searches per month. But what I find fascinating is that the more we do it, and because we're doing it as a community, we pitch in and suggest keywords, then it comes up later on. So for those of you who are listening to this and you haven't got a clue how to do keyword research, or if you have been doing keyword research and you're not hitting the thousands of searches per month, give it a bit of, keep going, keep trying. And with what we use with Publisher Rocket, it does offer some suggestions as well. you,
Yes.
you you look into your competitors, you gain some inspiration, you pick ideas again from your potential readers as well. You survey, you ask, you read blogs, just to come up with those keywords. So Do you have like strategies that you could suggest, Joyce, from your experience or from what you've seen in our community? What works best to generate those high traffic keywords?
Yes. Number one is to you can survey your market. That's what I did initially. So I surveyed my audience. Like, what do they want to know? If I'm going to write about content writing, what what do they expect from a book about content writing? So that's one thing. And then of course maximize the use of Publisher Rocket. It's very, very helpful. I cannot stress that enough. It's very helpful. And I actually like the flow in the Get It Done challenge, where we did the keyword research initially before we started writing our book. And then once the book is done, we went back into the keyword research again, just to streamline the keywords that we already have and improve, and basically look for better variations of those keywords that exactly matches the content that we already have. So I think that process is it's very systematic in a way that you already have initially, before you write your content, as you are planning your content, of course you have a clear idea of what you want to write. And then when it's done, you want to just boost it and optimize it more. So that's those are the two things that I think worked for me best. So I surveyed my audience. I asked them, I literally asked them, like, what do you want to
Yeah.
know
I think I
about it?
remember. Did you have like a form or something? Like
Yes, yes, yes.
what tool did you use to survey your read?
I surveyed my Facebook group. So I do have a Facebook group. So I did ask just just a poll in the Facebook group, and then I also did a Google Forms for
Mhm.
that, and it's basically compiled their answers on a
On a
sheet.
sheet.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't
So
have to be complicated. It's
yeah.
really just asking people.
Mhm. And just hearing what ideas that they have, because and it also helped, I think, that I invited them into the journey. Like, I as I was planning, I asked them, and it was they felt like they were part of the entire book writing. So they got excited as I was writing, and while I was launching, they were very interested to know about the details of the launch. So yeah, that helps. Just surveying your audience, even if you don't have an audience yet. Let's say you don't have a Facebook group or you don't have an email list. Just ask your friends, ask
People
your
you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
ask people, ask the people around you, and see what they think. So that really helped. That really worked best for me. Surveying my audience and using and maximizing publisher rank.
Yes,
So
absolutely. And yeah, for those of you who are watching this, maybe you haven't started writing your book yet, learn from the experience of Joyce, because Joyce is one of our star students in the Get It Done challenge. She went into the process knowing exactly what she's going to write about. So when she started writing, she just blasted through the process. She finished writing her book on time. I think you actually were even a week ahead of time. You finished writing your book a week before you were supposed to finish writing your book. So you had like a whole week of editing it and tidying it up, and you launched it, by the end of our 12-week program, which is absolutely phenomenal, to be able to write something from scratch, research, outline, writing, publishing, which is a complex, we call it self-publishing made simple, but there are a lot of tasks involved in it that we had to take it a step at a time. It took us like 6 weeks from finishing the first draft to actually launching it, and at the end of it you actually did manage to launch it to number one bestseller. You were outranking big names in the SEO field. I mean, how did you feel about that?
well, in the process, the writing phase was actually the easier part for me,
Mm-hmm.
because, as you mentioned, I feel like at the start of the challenge, I already have a clear idea of what I want to write. Like, I did my outline, I did my research, so it was the easier part. And then when the publishing phase,
Kicked
that was
off.
the more rigorous phase for me, because I had no idea what's going to happen. So when it comes to the self-publishing, the publishing mode, really an entirely new experience for me. But although of course there are challenges, but I think with the community, like especially with the weekly coaching calls where we can basically just maybe rant rant about the
My
challenges.
week is like so difficult.
So I think that really helped. And even if let's say, even if for an entire week I didn't have challenges, but hearing all the inputs from the other students, from the other self published authors in the group, it was I like the learning experience was massive. That's just that I learned a lot through the entire experience. And um, I think you mentioned this, that you teach self-publishing because it's more empowering that way. Like when aspiring authors like us, when we are able to actually self-publish our books and then get to number one, like it is indeed empowering. And I think it's when it comes to these types of it's not necessarily a skill, but the program that, or the sequence that you follow, that we followed in the program, I think it's best done that way. It's guided, but it's very flexible in a way. But there's a community of very supportive people who are rooting for you to get it done, get it published, and get it to number one.
Yes, and the things I absolutely loved facilitating the June 2020 cohort because it was a very supportive community, and people have their ups and downs, but it normalizes the challenges that people experience. So there are people who would finish writing their draft, and they would go through the editing process, and they would say something like, I thought I was done, but people gave feedback and that I have to write more, or I have to clarify this. And they realize that they're not the only one who experiences that, because if you're doing it on your own, you might feel, oh, I'm a failure, I thought I was done, and then people are giving me this feedback, and you realize that all authors go through that process, that you think that you finish writing your book, and then people give you feedback, and that you have to write more. Or people are stressing about their covers because they don't know what to do with their covers. I mean, I remember with your cover, I think I gave you a bit of a hard time to begin with, because I wasn't quite pleased with your initial cover. But I think having that community that is honest, supportive, constructive, you don't go out and publish something that might not be good enough. You have another pair of eyes that are genuinely trying to help you, not just being mean. It's like, oh, your cover is not good enough. It's actually well intended to to help you out and make sure that when you do launch, you launch well. And I absolutely love your cover. I actually do get very excited when I see improvements, and that you are able to launch the way you did. So how did you feel about that? Did you have that sense of the community? I know that I'm hard on with the other students when they are not progressing. I have like a whip. It's like, come on, just do it. What did you think about our community?
I actually feel like the way you coached us and guided us was really very warm and very sisterly. Like
Mm,
I felt like you genuinely wanted us to succeed, and I
I
know that.
do, I do, I do.
Yes, well, that's how I felt with all the coaching calls that we did and all the feedback that we received from you. It's very warm and it's very genuine. And when it comes to big projects like this, I think it those that warm community really help you like just push through and keep moving. It doesn't. Although of course there are like for example in my cover you gave your honest feedback on the initial covers that I showed you, and I didn't feel like it was it was to put me down or to make me feel bad about the cover that the cover that I had then. But it really made me feel like she knows her stuff. I have to follow what she's telling me because she's done this. She's done this a few times, and she knows what she's doing. So I just have. I think that's the point of every coaching program. You know, you have
Mm.
a coach because you trust that person. You trust that coach, and that you believe that that coach knows her stuff. So that's how I felt with the Get It Done challenge and with your style of coaching.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that because I've been I was a university lecturer, and that's what I did with my students for the 20 years that I was in the university. When I see that something can still be improved, without the intention of making people feel bad, but I want it to be the best possible outcome for them, and I will do what I can to get them there. And what I like with the community is, like, especially with students like you, you're open to constructive feedback, and you're willing to learn. You come there with the intention to actually, yeah, get to number one bestseller. You did the work, you learned, you powered through, and look where it got you. You managed to plan right and launch your book to number one bestseller on Amazon. And I hope that it's also generating more traffic to your business now that you have this book.
Yes, it definitely is doing that, and I'm actually, it's actually overwhelming, a little bit overwhelming, especially when I get messages from writers from aspiring writers or freelancers who want to venture into writing. Like, they would tell me that um, I've been wanting to like do freelance, but when I read your book, I felt like SEO content writing is for me. So, and some of them actually have already gotten their first client following the
Excellent.
I gave from the book. So that's really something that I don't know. It warms my heart. Like I remember one message I received that he loved the book because it's raw and it's like it shows my experience. Like it reads from uh, it reads like from someone who has actual experience on what she's talking about. So I felt like when it comes to those feedback, it really it validates, I guess, if that's the word, it validates the intention that I had when I had that book in mind. And it's really not just about the royalties or uh, the of course that's a good thing. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
extra income, extra passive income, but you have
really
this intention to serve, right?
connection with these people who benefit from what I did. So yeah, that's amazing.
That's wonderful. And I think that's the common thread that I could see from the successful ones in the Get It Done challenge. You powered through because it's your purpose is not just for your own personal benefit. You actually want to benefit your family, you want to benefit your clients, and more widely to help those who might need to learn about what you know, to share your expertise, knowing that it's not just about you, that there's actually a wider impact that your book can bring. And I think that's what just powered through so many members of the Get It Done challenge. We can see now in our community, so many students are publishing and launching their books to number one bestseller, and your case is one of the inspiring cases that we have in the community, that it is actually possible to write something, to publish it as a self-published author, and be up there, number one bestseller, and continue selling even after even after the launch, that you continue to reach people, build your brand, build your platform. And I know that now that you know what you're doing, you know the process already, this is something that you can rinse, repeat. That's why I don't offer a done for you service, because I would rather teach self-published authors the process. They need to know how to do it. That okay, they might not have the time to do it themselves. They can outsource, build their own team, but they need to understand how it works, so they'll be more empowered that when they want to do it again, you can rinse repeat, and yeah, and get to number one again. So Joyce, thank you very much for joining us today. If you have a message to our viewers out there who might be listening to this, maybe they are thinking about writing a book, don't know where to start, don't know if they have what it takes, or they don't know how complicated it would be, how they're gonna get there, what do you have to say to them?
Okay, my main advice, I guess, because I've been getting messages about, oh, how did you publish your book, or how did you come up with the book idea, even? I mean, those kinds of questions, and I always point them to this group, to the self-publishing community group. Like, okay, if you have any questions about self-publishing, go to go to Emmy's group, and she has lots of resources. And so I guess my main advice really to those who are aiming to write a book and self-publish their book and get to number one in Amazon is to hire you. In your group, that's it. Really, that's from my heart. Really, I think with a coach like you guiding them step by step, it's not going to be as overwhelming as it is. And I actually mentioned this to one of the writers that I was talking to a few weeks ago, because she also wanted to write her own book. And then, you know what? When you have a coach, is not as difficult as you think it is. It's not as complicated. It may be complicated, but if you have the right coach, you can do it. Like you
Yeah.
can do.
That's wonderful. I think for me, Joyce, I hear this all the time with potential authors. And for me, having experienced it myself, self-publishing can be a bit complicated because there are a lot of things that we need to do. But the reason why I call it self-publishing made simple is I want to simplify it by breaking it down into one task at a time, with the Get It Done challenge. I actually tell students who are jumping, like, way before we're supposed to do things, I tell them, look, one step at a time, one step at a time, just focus on getting this bit done first, and once you do that, you get on to the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, because if you try to do everything, even before you finish writing your book, you're not gonna get your book done, right? You need to finish writing the book first before you can publish it. So I mean, for me, I find so much pleasure when my students tell me, thanks, Emmy, for making it less overwhelming or making it less stressful, because I think it might be my obsession with structure. I want things done in a certain way because that makes tasks more manageable. It's more doable. And when we follow a process, especially our launch sequence, there are things that you need to do first before you can do other things. So, for example, with the cover or with the title, you have to finish your keyword research first before you can do that. So, I have to say thank you, Joyce, for that recommendation, and I do hope that for people who are watching this, that Joyce case study inspired you to write and publish your book. And if you are feeling overwhelmed, our program is designed in such a way that we will take it a step at a time. I'll hold you accountable. I will be honest, but it's a constructive feedback. You need to come in with open-mindedness, right, Joyce? That you're coming in to learn, to take action. You have to do things yourself, and when you need help, you can actually ask for help as well. And the community that I mean, I have to say thank you as well, Joyce, because you've been such a supportive member in the community, helping other members as well with their keyword research and other things that they're struggling with. So we do build a community that support each other, we help each other, and when we get to number one, we cheer, we rejoice with Joyce. When people get to number one bestseller, it's just an absolute pleasure seeing my students get there. So thank you again, Joyce. Do you have any final words? If people want to find you or get in touch with you, know more about content writing or SEO, stuff like that, where can they find you?
Yes, I do weekly trainings inside my Facebook group. So that's you can just search Dominique Google on Facebook, and you'll find it there. So if you want to learn more about SEO and content writing, and basically anything related to SEO, I also talk a little bit about off-page and on-page SEO, which is beyond the content part of SEO. So yeah, that's it. Join us in the Dominic Google group, and you can also email me hello@joicecarrera.com for any questions or inquiries about SEO and content.
Or better yet, you can just comment in the comments below. Get in touch with Joyce. And, Joyce is an active member in our community. And I'm sure that she'll be more than happy to support you as well. But thanks a lot, Joyce. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And yeah, if you want to connect with Joyce, learn about content writing and SEO, please feel free to connect with her. And if you're interested in the next, joining us for the next cohort of the Get It Done Challenge, the next cohort starts in January 2021, and the next one is in June 2021. I only open twice a year, limited to 35 students at a time, because I try to keep it a close knit community and provide as much support as I can in the community, offer guidance, the structure, the group coaching, and hopefully get you to number one bestseller, as well as we've seen in the June 2020 cohort of our community. So thanks again, Joyce. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Check out tinyurl.com/I will get it done for more details about the Get It Done challenge, or leave comments a comment below if you'd like to know more. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll catch up again next time for another expert conversations with me, Emmy, here in Self Publishing Made Simple. Until then, take care everyone, and bye for now. Bye. Where do I stop recording? Ah, there it is.